Anyone have any questions?
That's even
We're
better.
off to a good start.
Ian Begley, ESPN.com. Carmelo, so many new faces this year. What do you think going into the season are fair expectations for this group?
To be quite honest, I don't really have any expectations at this time. It's too early to kind of put expectations on anything, especially when this group has just been put together. We haven't even started one practice out. Yeah, we've been playing, pick up and working with each other individually, but it's not going to happen until tomorrow morning when we really get to go and really put the team out there. See how guys start to fit in over time. So it's going to take some time to kind of figure out what our expectations will be, but it's good not to have any expectations at this time. It gives us a chance to kind of have a fresh start and kind of, get our identity, the way we want it. It starts tomorrow, so you won't. I don't think you would be hearing about, expectations from any of the guys right now because it's too early at this point.
Carmelo, Howard Megdal, USA Today. Just to that end, though, what are some specific things you're going to look for in the coming weeks and months as benchmarks to measure progress in your own mind for the team? And just what do you think externally, at what point and what will we be able to see to know that progress is being made as well?
Well, I don't know what you guys would be able to see. I know from my standpoint, just about guys getting better, guys coming together as a team, as a unit, guys buying in, to what Coach Fish want to do, what he want to create, how he want to create it. But, for the most part, I think we have a great group of guys who has already bought in. Even though they haven't spent much time with Coach Fish due to obvious reasons. But I think guys has already bought in. That's why some of the guys wanted to come here. Even though we recruited some of the guys to come in, these guys wanted to be a New York Knicks. So from that standpoint, they bought in already. So it's just a matter of translating that onto the basketball court.
Carmelo, Mark Berman, New York Post. Phil said the other day he wants to be more involved, maybe in the coaching aspect, helping Fisher. Are you happy to hear that? And do you think last year he could have been a little more influential in that respect?
I really don't know what from what standpoint he's coming from. If I think I know Phil the way I know him, I think it's more of kind of being involved with the coaching staff, being there with them, watching film with them, kind of opening up the dialogue a little bit more. Him sitting in the film room, with us after the games, going over the games, watching more tape, talking to the coaching staff. So from that standpoint, I think, Phil will be more involved. As far as last year goes, honestly, it's hard for me to think about last year. Last year was kind of a blur for me, a blur for us as a team. So we even though we can't forget about that because it happened, we try not to think about that at this point.
Carmelo, Daryl Joyner, WPX 11. You're coming off a knee injury. You're talking about last year being a blur. Can you talk about the difference of your perspective that you're coming into this year, knowing that your health in NBA championship is fleeting? The window may be closing a little bit. Can you talk about how you're approaching this year and the rest of your career at this point?
Well, my window is open. I don't think it's closing. But for the most part, coming into this year, I think we get a chance to write our own destiny right now. And that's the good thing, when we can start off fresh, start off with a clean slate, and we can write, whatever story we want to write, whether good or bad. And I think guys are excited about that, to have a chance to start off fresh and, kind of put the past behind us and move forward.
Carmelo, Bruce Beck, WNBC TV. What do you think about the selection of Porzingis, and what do you think about him as a player right now after seeing him around?
Well, we got him. We got him at number 4. So what I think at this point is a little bit irrelevant. I've showed everybody that I've supported, that pick. I've showed everybody that I've supported Porzingis. As long as me and KP know our relationship, that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter what somebody else might speculate out there. But as far as him coming into this season, I mean, I kind of feel bad for him, man, because there's so much pressure on him at this point, and this guy hasn't played not even 1 minute in the NBA. So I'm gonna try to kind of be a big brother to him, man, and kind of take the pressure off of him a little bit, because it's going to be so much pressure, and it's something that he never experienced yet or before. So, I mean, he's 19 years old. He's first time into the NBA. This is new to him, and to be a newcomer into this game, into this league in New York, that's tough. And I don't think he knows what he's about to get himself into. So I got to kind of be that wall for him. So.
Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. When you're playing with a whole new team, really, guys you've never played with before, what will you kind of be looking for to know whether you can win with these guys, or have you kind of seen stuff yet and workouts and stuff?
Well, you just see flashes right now. I mean, the times that we've been playing, it's just all about just getting up and down the court, just playing basketball and kind of just having fun, getting to know one another. We haven't put any sets in to know how guys are going to play with each other, know what five is going to play with each other. All of that stuff is yet to come. So, right now, it's, what we've been doing in the summer and the off season is just playing and, kind of helping each other with their games and just kind of bonding a little bit and getting to know one another.
Hi, Carmelo. Chris Herring from the Wall Street Journal. Right here, sorry.
I see you.
It's good to see you again. Is there anything, normally you've said, at this point in your career, you don't really, maybe you go into off season looking to maybe kind of work on one thing or improve on one thing, but not much at this point. But coming off a knee injury, Phil mentioned on Friday that he said he talked to you early in the season when he saw that it was tougher for you to get around. Is there stuff that you're looking forward to getting back to make sure that you're still able to do it offensively, defensively, and if so, what would you point out?
Not one thing. My off season started in February. So I've had a long time to kind of rehab and practice and see where I'm at in different phases of the rehab and the off season. And as of right now, I don't think I'm limited to doing anything. I've tested everything out from running to jumping to cutting to, just doing everything. To playing 4 or 5 times a day straight, just testing that out. So I don't think I'm limited to doing anything, and that's the exciting part for me coming into this training camp.
Melo, you've had some success playing the 4 in the past. Any chance of, do you look forward to playing some more 4 this season, maybe, as opposed to the 3?
I'm pretty sure I'll be at the 4. Especially with the makeup of this team, I'm pretty sure I'll be there. Some nights it'll be an advantage, and then we will go to that. And some nights we won't. Just depend on who we playing, how the game is going, and whether Fish want to put me at the 4 position. But for me, it really doesn't matter. The 3, the 4, the way that the game is going now, those are the same 2 positions. So it doesn't matter to me at this point.
Carmelo Shenyang from Tencent. I have a question. This year you have so many new teammates from so many different countries. So how can you do it, make it like a union, stay at a strong team as a leader?
Well, we've been doing that so far. And we do have a lot of guys that's, European on our team. We laugh and we joke about that in the locker room, and them guys know. But, for them, it's that's their culture anyway, to be a team and, to come in and support one another and have each other's back and, all about winning. So right now that's the culture that we, will create here in New York with this team. So they fit right in. And I think Phil did a good job of, getting the right pieces to make this work as far as when it comes to, the European guys that's on the team.
Drumsville, Sports New York Star. Carmelo, with so many new players, do you plan to become more of a vocal leader on and off the court for them?
I lead in my own way. So for me to say that will become more vocal, I would, speak up time to time, but that's just not who I am. You know, to yell and scream, that's not my personality. So if you saw that me doing that on the court, you'd be like, "Oh, Melo is bugging out. What is he doing?" You know, that's just not that's just not my personality. But when I talk to you on the side, what I try to figure things out in my own way, yeah, I'll do that. But me being the guy that's very outgoing and yelling and screaming at teammates and getting on them, it would be a time where that have to come out and you guys would be like, all right, Melo is, I don't know if he's bugging out or he's serious. You know, that'll be for you guys to decide, but I know where that will be coming from. I agree, and I think I'm that now. I mean, just you guys don't see it, but you know, if you ask the guys on my team, I think they would agree with me. So.
Carmelo, here. I'm Bruno from Sport TV Brazil. How important is going to be this season for you, thinking on the Olympic Games next year in Rio?
Oh, I'm not thinking about that. I'm definitely not thinking about that right now. For me, I'm more thinking about tomorrow on these first two practices. The Olympics, that conversation would come at a later date, but I've put too much work in to look ahead to that. You know, I'd rather look forward to tomorrow and look forward to this season because I know the work that I put in and I know how excited I am to get back going.
CARMELO, Onyamasuki, ESPN.com. During the time that, from the moment you were shut down with the knee and you had the operation, watching this team from the side, how did your perspective change? What did you learn maybe about yourself, about this team, what Phil and Fish are trying to do?
Well, I mean, you watching from the side, I saw flashes of what could be. And it was hard for me to kind of imagine it or put it in perspective because that I knew that wasn't going to be the team that I was coming into this season with. You know, so it was just a matter of, seeing it from afar, kind of picturing myself within different situations in the game and becoming better kind of mentally and reading the game and knowing where I would be at on the court, knowing where other guys would be at on the court. But for last year, it was an experiment. You know, it turned into an experiment. Every game was a new starting five, and you didn't know who was going to play. So it was just a big experiment last year, and I've learned a lot just being on the court and off the court from the sideline, and I'm pretty sure that the front office and the coaching staff learned a lot as well.
Carmelo, Stephen Bondi with the New York Daily News. You mentioned how you're going to try and be that wall for Porzingis. What are some of the things you're telling him, maybe warning him about?
Yeah, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. And he's a guy who he want to learn on by himself. He want to go through the experiences on his own. I'm just there to be that sounding board and that guy to let him know what's here to come. But I'm pretty sure he wants to experience this whole situation on his own and go through it. Because I know if I was in that situation, I would want to do that as well. And I was in that situation. Coming in at 19 years old, just wanting to go through it and deal with it on my own and see what was good, what was bad, what I can do, what I can't do, just the whole experience off the court, on the court. So he wants that, but I'll be there for him.
Hey, Carmelo. Steve Popper, Bergen Record. Phil noticed the other day that from when he took over, I guess in March 2 years ago, you're the last player left from that team he inherited.
That's a good thing, I hope.
I mean, how odd is that for you that from everybody you had, everybody's gone, you're the last one?
Like I said, I think that would be a good thing. But just to know that, to see the process that Phil has taken from when he came in to now, and for me to be that one guy that's still here, and for him to, even though you guys might not write about it, but I think Phil still believes in me, and that goes without even being said because I'm still here, and for him to start this process with me, being the centerpiece of this, I respect that, and I don't want to let him down because I know that him putting me as a centerpiece of this was very big, and I know what we're about to start. I know what we're about to create, and I'm excited about that.
Thank you, Carmelo.
Thank you.
Next question's for Aaron AFFLAO. Good work. No. He's got to do it.
Come on, Charlie.
Questions for Aaron. You don't have to watch me.
Hey, Aaron. Bruce Spectrum, WNBC TV. Welcome.
How you doing?
Talk about this team. What do you see in this team, and why do you want to be here and be a part of it?
I mean, there's just so many reasons, from the city itself, but just being here the past month or two, this is a great group of guys, who want to be around each other, who love to play the game, play the game for the right reasons, and just most importantly, they want to build a bond with each other, and I know that's what winning takes, so I'm just happy to be here.
Hi, Emi from Wawa, Japan.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? What can you bring to this team?
What can I bring? Hopefully a little bit of everything. Primarily just being a good teammate. Trying to provide a little bit of leadership, some maturity on the court. Just being versatile, scoring, defense, but a little bit of everything.
Aaron, Daryl Joyner, WPX 11. You talk about what you can bring to the team, but in specifically the triangle offense is an offense that it's about passing, it's about moving.
Yeah.
Is that something that's down your alley as far as your style of play? Phil brought you in here, obviously, to kind of stabilize and be the general, so to speak, of this offense.
Yeah, obviously, I've watched the Lakers growing up, being from LA, watched the Bulls in their winning days. The triangle offense it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that I appreciate. It requires you to play with your teammates and off your teammates. And, I feel that's the way the game should be played. It's a team sport. You got to learn to utilize everybody to the best of their ability. So I've watched a ton of film, and I think it's going to work out.
Vernon McKenzie, Pure Sports NY. Aaron, you played with right here.
Okay,
you played with Melo before, so
Yeah.
how do you think that's going to help you guys as far as chemistry this season?
No, Melo's been great, man. He was highly influential on my career. He was highly influential in allowing me to be a part of this team today. I loved him as a teammate. He just makes the game so much easier for everybody else around him, and he's very committed to winning. So, I love that we're going to be teammates again, and hopefully for a long time.
Aaron, Howard Megdal, USA Today. You've been on a number of developing teams, and obviously from your own development as well. Just what are some specific ways that you see a team develop and you'll be looking for to see this team growing, both on and off the court?
I think it comes in your discipline, just your discipline. When guys are constantly in the gym, constantly working, there's a commitment there. And typically, sometimes around the league, you can see guys who just don't have the discipline or the consistency. But we've had, almost every player here for the past month, looking to do big things this year, and that's impressive. That's really impressive. And it's all about your mental attitude. How much do you want to play for each other? How bad do you want to defend this city? How much do you want to make the extra pass for your teammate? All in a sense for winning. And I think we have a lot of those guys on this team.
All right. Thank you, Aaron.